Okay, and I
Broadcast
believe we
is
are now
live.
live.
We are online. Buon pomeriggio a tutti gli italiani. Thank you for hosting us. Qui arriva, this is the U Foundation. We are starting the third part of the day, final end of the marathon, with 1 hour more dedicated to the concept of therapeutic knitting. And we start immediately with the presentation of Bethan Korkil. Andreas, green light. There you
Hello,
go.
I hope you're enjoying your day so far. I'm Betsan Corkill and I'm based in the city of Bath in the UK. I'm a former physiotherapist now working as a lifestyle health and well-being coach. And I'm going to talk to you today about using knitting to improve health and well-being. I've been researching the meditative, creative and social benefits of knitting since 2005. I also set up Stitch Links in 2005 because I recognised that people would need a safe, trustworthy source of information about using knitting therapeutically. Our newsletter now goes out to 92 countries. I want to start by drawing your attention to the biological fact that we all have the power to change ourselves, neurologically, biologically, even the way our brain is connected and our neurons work. And that's such a powerful, hopeful message. And therapeutic knitting can be used as an effective tool to facilitate this positive change. Our systems aren't simply able to change, they were designed to change in response to experience and our environment. This is called plasticity, and we can learn to use this fact to our advantage. Even the way you think can change your immune system. When I first heard this, I thought, wow, the way I think, my state of mind, could influence whether I catch a cold or not. Gone are the days when we thought our brain and nervous system were hardwired. They're capable of change throughout life into old age, and that's exciting. But you have to take action to ensure this happens. It's very much a case of using it or losing it for your mind and body. And changes are reversible, and that's really good news because it gives us the potential to change negative issues. Our other systems are changing all the time too. Our stress and immune systems change in response to our environment. Our muscles and heart change in response to the amount of exercise we do. Even your skin. If you walk for long enough without shoes on, the skin on the soles of your feet will thicken up. So our biological systems are changing all the time. Our bodies work as a whole within an environment and culture and change in response. So we need to consider our health and well-being from this wider perspective of the whole complex human within their environment, culture and world. Everything you do, everyone you meet, even the things you read, listen to on the radio or watch on the TV will affect your well-being. So we need to look beyond medical treatment for long-term success and consider your health within the wider context of your whole life. Dr. Margaret Hanna puts it very nicely in her book Humanising Healthcare, Patterns of Hope for a System Under Strain. In it she says, health is not just the absence of disease. Becoming well is about restoring connection with life through a healthy relationship with ourselves, other people and the wider world. I've been collecting stories from knitters around the world since 2005 and became intrigued why some people live happy, fulfilled lives despite numerous problems, while others sink under seemingly minor issues. And these core issues came up time and time again, and they apply to us all. The other things going on in your life make a big difference to how you manage life's inevitable challenges, as well as how you manage or recover from illness. And I'm making a distinction here between rewarding purposeful occupation and dutiful purposeful occupation. For me, housework would be dutiful purposeful occupation. Those who are busy, stressed or ill often prioritise dutiful activities over those beneficial for their well-being, and that needs to be turned around. And these issues feed on each other to give symptoms such as stress, worry, sleep problems, irritable bowel syndrome, migraines, muscle tension and pain. And it's my experience that if these underlying core issues aren't dealt with, it becomes very difficult to deal with the symptoms. So you need to deal with these issues for longer term success. And therapeutic knitting alone and in a group can help you deal with these. I'm often asked if there's a difference between knitting and therapeutic knitting. The idea of therapeutic knitting has evolved over the years. Therapeutic knitting equals a combination of knitting and knowledge to deliberately improve well-being. It's about having knowledge about whole person health and about how you can enhance the benefits of knitting to improve well-being. So it can work if you are fit and healthy to manage stress on a day-to-day basis as well as life's inevitable challenges, or it can be taken a step further to manage a range of medical conditions. We can also use knitting groups to help integrate people, refugees for example, into new communities. So let's take a look behind the K word. Knitting equals patterns of hand movement and hand position, and an enriched environment. And you can choose to knit in a group with all the extra benefits that brings. In addition to the benefits listed, knitting in a group encourages the sharing of stories, enables the building of safe, supportive networks, and can help to integrate people on the margins of society into their communities. The benefits of knitting alone are different from knitting in a group, and you'll find the benefits outlined in column 2 and 3 in other creative activities. All of the issues listed here are beneficial for your well-being. The portability of knitting is really important in its use as a therapeutic tool. It gives you a powerful tool at your fingertips anytime, anywhere. Even in the middle of the night when things can often seem quite dark, or on crowded public transport. It enables people to be more social because knitting acts as a self-soothing tool to manage any worries or emotions you may have, and also enables us to use it in a busy clinical environment. Along with this portability, it's this first column that sets knitting apart from other activities. The function of your hands and the information we get through them is really important. Our hands have driven the development of our brains throughout evolution. Lucy was a pre-human who lived about 3.2 million years ago in eastern Africa, and she was found to have an un-ape-like hand but an ape-like brain, so her hands were evolving before her brain. We know that bilateral coordinated patterns of movement that cross the midline of the body take up a lot of brain capacity. They make your brain work hard. Your brain has a fixed capacity for conscious attention in any given moment. When you're totally absorbed in an activity like this, your brain has less capacity left to pay attention to other issues, which might be detrimental to your well-being. The rhythm of the movements facilitates a meditative-like state, a sense of deep relaxation, and it's instantaneously familiar, calming and relaxing. The brain likes rhythmic movement because it's predictable. It makes the brain feel safe. And we engage in rhythmic repetitive movement instinctively when we're stressed. Many ancient cultures have tools that involve repetitive hand movements to ease stress and distress. You have your rosary, worry beads, worry stones. The Chinese have chime balls. Nurturing feelings of safety is hugely important for well-being. In our Stitchling's Cardiff University study of over 3,500 knitters from 32 countries, one of our most significant findings was the most frequently people knit, the happier and calmer they feel. You needed to knit more than 3 times a week. If you combine this instantaneous calm with knitting's portability, you have a really powerful tool you can use anytime, anywhere. If you give your brain a background automatic task, it seems to facilitate more free-flowing conversation and laughter. It may facilitate access to the subconscious. Automatic movements happen in the subconscious. It seems to help break patterns of rumination. Knitters report that it seems to break these negative thought cycles. They tell me it gives them a break from the constant chitter-chatter of thoughts. The hand position protects personal space. It helps people to feel safer on public transport and when socialising, enabling them to go out more. The combination of rhythmic bodily movement and a meditative state is really important, and there's more evidence emerging that you can't control your mind with your mind, using what we call a top-down approach, but it's much more likely if you involve the bodily movement, so you're also changing the input into the brain, bottom up. So knitting has the bottom-up input of the rhythmic movement and the top-down effect of the calm. An enriched environment is important for well-being and brain health, and I'm just going to pick out some of these. Creativity is important for well-being, psychological flexibility, self-management and problem-solving. If you're thinking creatively, you have more options open to you. There's no doubt in my mind that it's better to be actively creative rather than being a passive recipient in life. Regular novelty is good for us. It facilitates the growth of new brain cells, opens up new neural pathways, nurtures a healthy brain, opens up and enriches our world, and keeps us interested in the world and more interesting to other people. Regular novelty is easy to introduce through knitting. The importance of being successful at something has really shone through in this work. Your brain has a system called the reward system, which fires off a boost of feel-good, motivating, pain-relieving chemicals when you are successful at a task that requires a little effort. Part of the therapeutic approach is learning to set your projects at the right level, a level that requires a little effort, but at which you know you'll be successful at, certainly at the start. Doing things and being successful at them keeps this important brain circuit healthy. And you get 3 rewards when you knit: the ongoing reward of the process, the end product, and you can choose to give this as a gift to a friend, family or charity. And many people, particularly from vulnerable populations, will have nothing in their lives that they feel successful at. John Cacioppo's work into loneliness has found that we need to address the social and emotional aspects of loneliness. People need emotional nurturing. The feeling of loneliness causes stress levels to rise. It can increase inflammation. It decreases the effectiveness of sleep. So it makes a lot of sense to deal with loneliness as part of a whole person approach to well-being. We know that the feeling of loneliness is highly detrimental to health and well-being, and both knitting alone and knitting in a group will help you manage loneliness. Knitting groups provide a means of safe, rich social contact with people from different cultural backgrounds, a range of educational backgrounds, so knitters from all walks of life and ages. And this is really important for building compassion and understanding in communities. Knitting enables social engagement. The activity makes it easier to attend a group. The common interest gives you a point of conversation outside yourself. The hand position protects your personal space, making you feel safer. Knitting provides you with a self-soothing tool to manage any emotions or anxiety at attending a group. And you can choose whether to have eye contact or not. And we found that the or not is really important, because it's perfectly acceptable to sit and knit quietly, and this puts the knitter in complete control over how much they wish to participate. Loneliness and being alone are very different. Knitting alone can also help you deal with loneliness. Knitting enables you to learn to just be in your own company. And learning to enjoy solitude is important. Whereas loneliness raises threat level, enjoyment of solitude is beneficial to your well-being. It nurtures feelings of safety. In our Stitch Links Cardiff University study of over 3,500 people from 32 countries, another significant finding was that 81% of respondents reported feeling happier after knitting. 54% felt happy or very happy. Fewer than 1% remained sad, and excitingly this translated across to those with clinical depression. We also found that texture was twice as significant as colour for affecting mood. If you touch something good, you feel good. There's a growing need for instant gratification in our modern world. Lasting success in all aspects of life requires ongoing commitment, perseverance and patience. And we are in danger of losing those skills to the detriment of our well-being. And this has become a big problem in healthcare. We have come to expect a quick fix, to expect a doctor to fix us with a pill. Knitters told us they learn these skills through knitting. Knitting teaches you that you have to work towards and wait for the best outcomes. In our survey, knitters told us they learned patience, perseverance, planning, commitment, and that things are never perfect, that the best way of learning is through trial and error. Interestingly, they also told us that they learned that mistakes can be undone, that you can reach your end goal despite a few detours along the way, and often that end goal is richer as a result of the lessons learned. And these are really valuable life skills, and they're vital for long-term success in all areas of life, particularly health. Persevere and things will happen, things will change. So let's take it a step further now to use knitting to manage some common medical conditions. The practicalities are that it's portable, the learning process involves no wasted materials, deliverable in kit form to an armchair or bed, it's not messy to set up or clear up, it requires no artistic talent, the reward is attainable by all, it cuts across class, culture, educational background, and can be learnt or reinforced from DVDs, books and YouTube. The stories from knitters mention over 60 medical conditions. Many of these conditions have symptoms in common, and these are some that knitting can help. We have, for example, helped people cure anxiety and panic episodes by getting them to carry around a small project which they take out when anxiety levels rise. And the instantaneous feeling of calm prevents it escalating further. Soon simply the knowledge that they have an effective tool at hand is enough. And this encourages them to continue going out and can prevent them from becoming fearful of leaving the house and eventually becoming housebound. I want to take a look at some of the myths now. Therapeutic knitting is not just for sick people. It can benefit anyone willing to give it a go. It can help all of us manage our stress on a day-to-day basis and help us cope with the challenges that life will inevitably throw our way. It's no coincidence that we've seen more people knitting during the pandemic. It has helped many cope with these challenging times. It can help to improve your sleep, raise your mood, or deal with loneliness. And it can also help us to grow and nurture a sense of belonging to a supportive network of friends, locally and globally, via the internet. It works for men too. The Knitting Men movement that began in Chile has now spread to other areas of South America. Their Facebook page has 99,000 followers. They gather to knit in public places with the specific aim of promoting a society that is less male-orientated, promoting gender equality. These knitting men are challenging the cultural beliefs that women in their society are seen as weak, and therefore men who knit are also seen as weak. But actually the first knitters were men. Knitting was also the treatment of choice for shell shock following World War I. This image shows soldiers being treated with knitting for shell shock, post-traumatic stress disorder, following World War I at Walter Reed Memorial Hospital in 1918. I've used knitting in a clinical setting with men, and I found that if I explain the benefits knitting could have for them, most of them are happy to learn. They're understandably a bit reluctant to join a group that is predominantly female, so tend to prefer to knit alone, but will be happy to knit in a men's group. So we really need the knitting men movement to spread wider. We hear a lot about knitting and mindfulness, but it's not just about mindfulness. As you will have seen from the knitting equation, it's a lot more complex and exciting. There are also a number of other mind states you can enter when you knit, and these have their benefits too. These are dependent on the project you're knitting, so have a few projects on the go that will enable you to go into a range of beneficial states of mind. You can choose to knit mindfully. A complex project or something new will facilitate a state of focused attention. An easy project will enable you to go into a state of effortless presence or even a state of daydreaming, which can also be highly beneficial. Knitters say it's like giving their mind a mini break from the stresses of the world. People with hand pain can also knit, providing they choose the right materials and pace their knitting activity. It's very sad to see people stopping knitting because they think the movement will damage arthritic or painful hands further, when actually the movements, if practiced with the correct materials and pacing, will improve their hands. Wooden needles are generally easier. Polished beech has less friction than bamboo. Don't make the mistake of thinking big needles are better. Big needles means a heavier project. Very fine needles will also make your hands ache more. Circular needles will allow the weight of your work to rest in your lap, and if necessary, rest a pillow on your lap to rest your hands on the pillow to support the weight. Pace your knitting. If your hands are very painful, you may only be able to knit 5 stitches. So stop and do another 5 in an hour's time and gradually build up the amount of work your hands are able to do. It'll improve your hand function in other areas of life too. Movement lubricates and strengthens joints and muscles, so pain will improve too when the activity is paced and gradually increased. Sitting for long periods of time is highly detrimental to health in many ways, so you should get up every 20 to 30 minutes and walk around to get your circulation going, stretch your hands gently, and focus your eyes on a distant object. This is a really important part of knitting therapeutically. And you don't have to be an expert for it to become therapeutic. The movements become rhythmic very quickly. Allow your mind to slow and flow into the rhythm of your hands. It's more about the process than the end product. Knitting has the potential to change you neurologically, biologically, behaviourally, socially. It can also change your personal story. It's a powerful portable tool you can use anytime, anywhere to improve your well-being. I've only been able to give you a snapshot today. If you're interested in finding out more, my book, Knit for Health and Wellness, is also available in German and Spanish. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope you really enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Betsan, and thank you for your effort. You see that I have changed my background. This is 9 April, and believe it or not, it means Wool Day, Giornata della Lana. This is our beautiful shop, laboratory. That's the headquarters of Gomitolo Rosa in Rome. And I understand you want to go to Riverland in Cyprus, but next time you come to Rome, you have to stop here and come and get one of our gomitoli. You see connected with me Ivana Apolloni, director of Gomitolo Rosa, and Serena, vicinanza of our staff. They will do the presentation later. We give now number 32. It's Bilge Aktas from Finland, who presents a very original and unusual reflection and meditation on wool. Andreas, if you are ready with number 32, please. What do you think? Do we have any comment? Let me see if there are comments in the. Oh, we start having friends from the US now. And the last message is I'm also an art therapist living in the US, and she appreciated very much what we just saw. Now I would like to give the floor to Sandra Kerovets on behalf of Osana. Andreas is the number 33. Osana is an association in Zagreb, in Croatia, and they will show and explain what they have defined as wool for cognitive well-being. We have a series of slides. I think this is the first. Can you go?
When thinking how to start, a quote about butterflies seemed like a good opening line. Among many, I have chosen this one. There is nothing in the caterpillar that tells you it's going to be a butterfly. This quote somehow summarizes all our efforts and aims, personal, general, and within our I Dream I Fly I Live project. With presenting you this project, we wish to emphasize social aspects of working with wool and show you how a simple idea can become a basis for building a social network and collaboration between groups with different interests gather around the same goal. And now, let me tell you about Osana. Osana is a civil society organization that has been founded in 1991. Its primary mission is simple: improving the life quality of persons with disabilities and their families. At this moment, we take care of 10 preschool children with developmental issues and 49 youth and adult persons with intellectual disabilities. Pedagogical work in both programs is based on Waldorf education principles and adjusted to specific needs of beneficiaries, their age, and also type and level of disability. To each beneficiary, we try to provide opportunities where they can develop maximum of their potentials. Our work with youth and adults is organized through workshops: handicraft workshop, that is needlework, sewing, weaving, knitting, crocheting; wool workshops, processing of wool, wet and dry felting; ceramics, art therapy; sports, swimming, table tennis; independent life skills workshop, cleaning, cooking, gardening, shopping, etc.; music and dance workshops; drama games and exercises; and we have Strickerai Cafe, and I'll tell you more about it later. We work together with parents, all the relevant institutions, but also with schools, faculties, libraries, museums, theaters, nursing homes, other NGOs, patient groups, volunteers. We participate in social events and projects of others. This adds value to our basic programs and contributes to social inclusion of our beneficiaries and gives them visibility in our society. With years of work, we have managed to build a community around us. We have realized that we have impact on society and also responsibility towards it. And may I say that we spread joy wherever we go and whatever we do. At this point, I would like to tell you a bit about our work with wool. We use raw wool for felting, and we also use wool for knitting, crocheting, and weaving. Raw wool we buy or get as a donation has already been washed, so we comb it, dye it, and then we felt it using techniques of wet and dry felting, and we make different things out of it. Using raw wool as a medium, we have a chance to observe therapeutic effects that this process has on our beneficiaries. Betsan Kork has explained us the impact that knitting and crocheting have on health and wellness. Since not all of our beneficiaries are able to learn how to knit or crochet, seems like wet felting gives them opportunity to experience some of the benefits she was telling us about. It's a process that should be further researched. Based on this good experience, we wanted to share it with others. So we have started to collaborate with elementary and secondary schools in a unique way. Our beneficiaries, together with their educators, teach and guide students through process of wool felting. Together, they make miracles, and each participant benefits in various ways. This joint effort is true training ground for improving social competences within both groups and supports personal and social development of all included. This is also a good platform for pointing out the problem of treating raw wool as waste material and to raise awareness of healthy ways of life, caring for nature, and sustainable development. These collaborations are quite unique. They are going on for 15 years already, and many schools are interested to implement this kind of work. It's also recognized and financially supported by government. A bit of this atmosphere you can see in the movie.
That was the first part. Sorry, we go immediately to the second, where you will see in detail what the association, Hosanna Association, does, and in particular the famous and beautiful little angel and the butterflies and the sheep. Look at this.
How to make an angel out of white combed wool. So we take a piece, not too long, not too short, not too thick, not too thin, because the angel is a very harmonious being. It should be nice. And in the middle, we made a nice knot. Then we take a small piece of wool that will serve as the arms of the angel. And at both ends we make a little knot, like a little hand. We look at the proportions. And now main thing started. So we take golden thread. Gold is nice for the angel. And I look what would be the nicest face. Put a thread around the neck, and we make 2 knots at the back. Then the angel is going on his belly, and we put the arms just in between and take a little piece of the upper part of the wool across the hands And now we look angel at the face again. And one piece of the thread goes around, the other going crossing around the waist, and then crossing at the back, crossing at the back around the neck again, making 2 knots again, just making it to be able to hang, possibly above the cradle. And now we take off what is not necessary. And now we have to take care for the skirt to be nice. And at the very end to take care for the wings. It will take a shape of the heart. And here it is.
So beautiful, well done. And you see, we have them, and people really like, particularly at Christmas or in other time of the year, were very nice. One of the most beautiful objects in wool. I think there was another one, short. I don't remember. The sheep. Yeah, the last.
How to make a little sheep out of white comb wool and with the help of 2 pipe cleaners. First of all, we have to one part put it in half and then roll it. This will be a head, the neck and the front legs. The other piece, put it in half, put it around the neck, tied it, and this will be the body of little sheep and the back legs. And now the process of putting wool can start. We start with the leg. First one leg. It is important that the wool is still full of natural fat. So that we can work with it tightly. So now we go with the head. And this wool is very good because it's full of lanolin. A bit more. Another thin layer. just to make it nice. And here we go to the back legs. Another one. And around the body. Now we have to work with the body. Still a little bit. And nicely, we'll make a little tail like this. And we need ears. Here we are. And now at the very end, a little bell. And here it is, our little sheep.
So thank you very much to Sandra. For me, it is very amazing to see what wool can be used for, even for therapeutical issues and matters. That's amazing.
It's very good, in fact, that you, breeders and producers, you see how much can be done beyond the industrial and artisanal scope. We give now the floor to Ivana Apolloni in Rome and Serena, who will tell us and tell you what we have done, the experience of Glomitolo rosa in the health sectors and in hospitals. Ivana, please.
Hi everybody. I'm Ivana Apolloni, the director of Gomitolo Rosa. Our association is the first association in Italy committed to the recovery of native waste wool for solidarity and therapeutic purposes. Gomitolo Rosa was born in Biella, the city of wool, but today I'm connected from Rome, from our operational headquarters, our wool laboratory, as you can see. We are really, really happy to celebrate the first European Wool Day together with many Italian and European realities, and to have given life to this day. We have certainly created more awareness and knowledge about this special product of nature, the wool. Wool was born to be loved, is the slogan used for this day, and we share it. The slogan that we often use to describe our project is "From special waste to solidarity resource." I tell you about this special circular economy project. We recover the wool, we work it, as you can see. We produce yarn balls in 14 colors associated with pathologies according to an internationally recognized code that links the colors to disease. Pink, breast cancer; blue, prostate cancer, and so on. Look at this shawl, for example, or this scarf that we made in 1,000 pieces and donated to the elderly in Italy out of solidarity after this very long period of pandemic where they suffered most of all this forced isolation. A special circular economy project where wool is transformed from special waste to solidarity resource through environmental attention, solidarity, sharing, well-being. With regard to our commitment to promoting well-being, Gomitolo Rosa is recognized as the leader in Italy in the therapeutic use of wool and the pioneering originality of the idea of recovering wasted wool into the world of personal health. For this idea, we thank our president, Alberto Costa, oncologist surgeon, who saw in the wool that becomes ball and that is knitted a potential for medicine, the one that requires a human relationship. When we talk about wool therapy in hospitals, we intend to understand in a single word all the beneficial aspects of this virtuous circle: the reduction of waste, attention to the environment, the benefits deriving from knitting. We are present in 10 waiting rooms of Italian cancer unit. The doctors who manage these departments are all strongly convinced of the benefit of knitting to offer to women with cancer positive support in coping with the stress of the disease. During the COVID pandemic, our volunteers were no longer able to enter the hospitals, and this activity was generally interrupted in the waiting rooms. It was very, very frustrating for us to see our flagship project stand still for so long. We have now found a solution to resume this beautiful project, and we have created personal kits to practice wool therapy. A plastic bag with a ball of yarn inside, a crochet hook, and the pattern to follow. Although we are against the use of plastic, this was our only solution. The plastic bag can be sanitized, and each patient has their own work to do. avoiding the passage of materials from one hand to the other. Last Women's Day, we started the distribution of 1,000 kits, and today we have already reached all the patients who are really grateful for this attention. The knitting project we have assigned is to make very easy hexagons, which will make up a blanket like this one you can see. And some will use it as a leg warmer for patients while they are doing chemotherapy. Others will donate them to life aid centers present in many hospitals. Others will give them to us for deliveries to the homeless. So, knitting helps yourself while you help others. Our goal this year is to double the number of hospitals where we are present with the project of knitting therapy, and we are working hard. Here's how Gomitola Rosa uses wool. Thank you for your attention. Greetings from Rome. Ciao.
Perfetto. That's the gomitolo. Very good. Thank you, Ivana. Thank you very much, Serena. You have a future in TV. So,
and in addition, they give wool a future because this way of using wool is really stunning from my point of view.
we're very glad that you say this. And we have no time to go for other projects, but look, for example, this is the bag for go shopping and daily shopping and replacing the plastic bags. And this has been adopted by a number of co-op supermarket, and they are helping us because they like to offer this to the clients. So we have hundreds of options, and this is what we have done today. Wait till see our Spanish friends, what they do in Madrid. So last effort, but with pleasure. Andreas, the number 35 is Hilandia Solidarity Challenge Project, which is a beautiful Spanish project described in the video that we are going to see now for the last 10 minutes of this long day. Isn't it nice? It's also, this is very special. This is a team of the ship, and all over the country, they collected drawings, gadgets, and things from all over Spain. Last video, number 36, Andrea, is the social knitting helping women and the elderly, and it's by our great friend of La Yaya, which means the grandmother. La Yaya is an association in Madrid. Andrea, please, number 36.
My name is Concha Rey. I am
Concha
the
Rey.
president of Yaya Association, and this is a non-profit organization that works all around Spain. Yaya has 3 kinds of projects I would like to tell you about. The first one is knitting health, developing knitting therapy in nursery centers with elderly people and people with mental illnesses. These projects helps elderly and people in pain use knitting as a form of therapy. Volunteers from the association visit places like nursing homes, day centers, or hospitals to take yarn to the people there so they can knit and feel better. I want to remember all of those women that passed away with the pandemic, but are still in us with all the garments that they have knit. This is why I wear a puppy to honor the heritage of all of them. The second kind of projects they are educational projects, promoting social volunteering in schools, making children feel useful. Instructors from the association visit schools so that children can learn to knit just like our grannies. In addition, projects like SOS Oceans, SOS Bees, SOS Climate Change, and now SOS Wool teach us to help take care of the environment. And charity projects is the last one, implementing social and charity projects, because most of the garments our grannies need, like scarves, hats, and blankets, are given to people and families in need. We want to be sure we develop our activity with responsibility, and be sure everybody has willing to use wool and not synthetic fibers in our knitting activities. So wool is our tool. People who participate in the projects of Yaya Association get a great sense of responsibility towards themselves and towards our community. Loneliness is also conveyed, and there is an empowerment and a sense of belonging to a social network. Thanks to the knitting therapy, these people feel fulfilled and their self-esteem improves. I want to show you now a story about our organization. SOS Wool. Thank you.
Thank you very much also to Concha. You have seen, she is the Concha I mentioned this morning who had the idea of the bank, and this is what we will develop next year. One of us, Dora Casas, who is Hungarian but lives in Ireland, volunteered to tell us a few ideas for what to do next, because I see we keep receiving comments, and in fairness, we didn't have any negative comment yet. So apparently this was a good idea. And when you have a good idea, you want to do it twice and maybe 3 times. So Dora, yesterday, was recording this presentation, and I rang and say, it's late, you're late. And she was baking the cake because it was the birthday of her son. And this for me was again the symbol of how people should understand that the wool people are normal people and people who want a better life and a better planet. So Andreas, you have probably 37, last presentation from Dora from Ireland.
Hi, I'm Dora Jamnicki-Kasás from Hungary, but living in the beautiful Ireland at the moment. I hope you enjoy the first European Wool Day, as it is coming to an end soon. Thank you for taking part. The videos of today will be available on a YouTube channel, so if there's something that you missed or would like to see again, you will be able to do so. And the good news is that we are already planning the second European Wool Day. We are working on turning this into an annual event, so next year it will be on the 9th of April 2022, which falls onto a Saturday. As this year was the first occasion, we are eager to get all your comments, feedback and suggestions to help us to get even better next year. But of course, we already have some plans. Today, we had participants from more than 20 European countries, but for next year, we would like to include even more. The closing date for applications will be a bit sooner than it was this year, and we'll start sharing the detailed program a few weeks before the actual event. We are encouraging national wool days in individual countries and connecting to the European Wool Day like we did with Italy this year. We would like to get a bigger section on the wool factory side and cover all the new ideas and inventions regarding wool. The second European Wool Day will be a week before Easter, so we will include some special Easter crafts with wool, of course. The plan is to have a kids section with some tales of lambs and the Easter bunny. Next year, we will have a fun game with a prize to win to make it more interactive on the day. We also plan to have an interactive map of contributors where you could search by country or by group, such as breeders, dyers, crafters, or social projects. Contact details of contributors will be added as well, and even of participants if they wish to. Hopefully, it will help us to stay connected between European Wool Days. It should serve as an easy way to locate wool and wool product providers. It will be our first database of European wool stakeholders under one common umbrella, as we wish to promote engagement at a European level. It could provide us with a platform where information on wool, or even wool itself, gets exchanged. But for now, please share your recommendations and we will take them on board. If you would like to join the team, please email us on ewe@ewe.network. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage you to follow the Facebook page and the website of the U Foundation to get the latest news and follow the development of the U Foundation's other activities during the year. You can find us on www.ewe.network, and hopefully we will be able to have more in-person gatherings on the second European Wool Day. Please share the word of the European Wool Day and stay connected. Save the date, 9th of April 2022. See you next year. Bye for now.
So nice. Thank you very much. I think we are all a bit exhausted here. Very happy that next year will be Dora. Good luck and enjoy. Natalie and Isabella, any comments?
I would just like to make a short conclusion of the day, if possible.
Go.
Okay, so I think we had a really, really interesting day today. We started with a lot of different sheep breeds, with a lot of different wools all over Europe. We started in the north, going through the middle of Europe, far to the south, to Isabella, to Cyprus. And I think we saw a lot of contributions with many, many different uses for wool. And for me, it is very new to use wool for therapeutical issues. So the afternoon was very interesting for me to see that there are additional opportunities for great use for our European wool. And for me, I'm still convinced that wool is the fiber of the future. And as Mia just said at the beginning, wool was born to be loved.
Very good. Isabella, thank you so much, because everything was done in your office and by yourself in late hours, no weekend in the last 3 weeks. If you
Thank you.
still have a bit
I
of
didn't.
voice, say something from Cyprus.
Yes, for me it was really a very nice experience. I thanks Natalie for this all this support. It was very important for us to be able to finalize and organize everything so perfectly. Perfectly, I wouldn't say. I mean, well done. I mean, we were not perfect because it's the first time, but for sure for next year we will be much better. Yes, it's we feel it. And wool was born to be loved, and we have a lot to do, and this is a challenge. I like it.
Thank you so much, and enjoy the time. I'm really happy to finish, thanking also the Rome team, Ivana, Sabina, Serena. Sabina spread the news, is nearly seriously in every Italian newspapers today, the Wool Day, so people are very, very impressed and surprised. So the model works. Next year, we should have at least another 2 countries having their own national day in its own language, and then having the European one coordinating and exchanging everybody. Finally, please let me thank these incredible guys, the technicians behind all this, who have been no coffee, no food, no toilet for 7 hours. Stelios and Andreas in Cyprus, Claudio here in Rome, who made possible this very surprising
Thanks
day.
very
So
much.
thank you so much. See you next year. Everything will stay on the website recorded, so you have time, and also people who couldn't follow because of the lag difference, the time difference, will be able to see everything tomorrow.
And it would be nice, Isabella, for a big thanks to our sponsors. Isabella?
Sorry?
A big thanks to our sponsors.
Yes, thanks. I would like to thank the support of the Cypriot companies in these difficult times. The communication sponsor, City, Riverland, Hellenic Bank, Alhambra, Dairy Products, the Breast Center of Cyprus, GnosisNet for their marketing support, and the Hair Bar in Nicosia. Thank you very much for supporting this initiative, and I'm sure that next year we will have more and more supporters, because this initiative will have a lot more value and appreciation from all over Europe. Thank you very much.